So we're coming here to tell you why people are resisting ICE. The first thing that you should know, which is common sense, is this right here. This right here. Uncover your faces. Don't wear a mask. You look like criminals. You look like thugs. You look like bandits when you're doing that. Your face should be exposed, just like you have agencies around the US, like the FBI, US Marshals, DEA, that are trying to arrest and detain far more dangerous criminals than just people being here illegally. Yes, you have people that are criminal, illegal aliens that have committed crimes. Yes, we know that. But the vast majority that are being detained are people that are just happens to be here illegally. They just work in landscaping, they're just cleaning houses, or they're just here illegally. That's the only crime. And people want to paint, oh, they're here illegal, they're criminals. Ask that question. Ask God if that is correct. If you think that is correct to treat people like criminals just because they're in the land illegally, ask God if that is a reason to be treated in such a way. And I want to read something to you guys about DHS. A few months ago, back in September, there was a man who manhandled a woman in a courthouse in New York, and people videotaped it. And at the time when it happened, the officer grabbed her, pushed her on the ground really hard, and she was not aggressive. She was very non threatening. She was just crying to him, please don't take my husband, don't take my husband. Husband showed up for an appointment with immigration. ICE was going to take him. She was just pleading with him, don't take my husband, don't take. And the guy gives treat her in a very ugly, violent way. And this is what they said, and DHS at the time about this ICE officer. The officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. And guess what? The guy was led back into units 2 days later with no disciplinary action taken against him about his behavior. And this is why people are resisting, because there is constant abuse by ICE around the country. Just today in Minnesota, where Trump is sending ICE officers because he's so upset that they made such a big deal about a murder by an ICE officer that killed a woman. And it's the way the ICE officers are interacting with people in such a, again, unprofessional, demeaning, abusive, illegal manner. I'll give you an example. The woman that was killed, Renee Nicole Good. And you can see this in the video when he's saying, the officer is telling her, not the officer that shot her, Jonathan Ross, but another officer comes up to her car and tries to open her door, and he says, get the fuck out of the car. And then she's saying, right before that, she was saying, oh, don't be upset, I'm not mad at you. She said something along those lines. And right after the officer that shot her, Jonathan Ross, as he was walking towards the car after he crashed down the street, he said, fucking bitch. What kind of mindset is that? You just shot another human being, and she was not trying to run you over. You can see that in the video. She was trying to drive away because she got scared, because I'm sure as she heard, and many have heard about the way they're treated when they go to detention centers. And today there were two instances reported where they were looking for some alleged sexual uh, predator or some criminal illegal alien. They went to a U.S. citizen's house and broke into his house. Literally, they went in there and just barged their way in without a warrant. He was a U.S. citizen, and they pointed guns at him and his family, children even. They took him in handcuffs out. They took him out like he was in shorts and a t-shirt in a freezing weather. They took him out, and then they brought him back to the house and released him because they realized he was the wrong guy. Also, same day, they stopped a police officer who was off duty, but he was a minority. He looked all foreign, brown, or whatever. And then they realized he was a police officer, and they then let him go. They're not really looking for criminals because they're just picking whoever they want, like this police officer. They didn't have a warrant for him. They just saw him and say, hey, this guy looks foreign. That's not the way it works, and that's why you get resistance from people. People are not resisting because they want to defend criminal, illegal aliens. It's because the way you're treating people all across the board with that professional behavior, the way they talk. And in the instance with Rene Good, it was not just that one time. They're doing that all the time. You can see that in videos. They're using profanity with everyone they interact with, and it's such a trashy manner. It's like it makes you think of January 6th rioters, like that kind of people. They go into people, and you can see other videos where people say, don't fuck with eyes. What is that? Fucking move. And I've seen the videos, so many videos you can find yourself online where they're cursing at people, and people that are just like, they're not being violent. They're just protesting peacefully. Or there's somebody who's a U.S. citizen they mistook for an illegal alien or illegal immigrant because of the way they look. That's why people are resisting. And you don't see why. And people are saying, oh, this is an insurrection. These are criminals. These are liberals and Democrats who want criminals, aliens in our country. Who would want that? They just want respect for people, be treated professionally. When the FBI and the EA, the DEA, the U.S. Marshals, and other federal agencies deal with real criminals, they don't act that way. They even act more professional with those real criminals than ICE is acting with people that are so many times innocent people. Or they're just people that are just happen to be here illegally. They committed no other crimes. They just work illegally. They have a job cutting grass or cleaning houses, but they're not real criminals. And many people go, yeah, they're criminals who broke the law. Ask God if he thinks that being in a country illegally is against God. There's a God's doctrine and then the man of law. And if you read the Bible, you can see that he says in there, the law of God supersedes the law of man if the law of man is hurting the man. Don't believe me, you can read the Bible. You need to keep track of everything that's happening around the country, because if there is resistance, there is a reason why. Also, officers are partisan. There's recorded videos of ICE officers saying liberals are bad, or praising right-wing groups like Proud Boys. Oh, the Proud Boys are good. You do realize that if you're hiring people with partisan thinking, they're not objective. They're just targeting people they don't like. And that's a very bad thing to happen in this country. Dividing people by ideology and targeting people and oppressing people, that's not the way America is. And we're not going on a good road if Trump is trying to invoke the Insurrection Act because there's an insurrection. He's making this happen, maybe because he knows that he might go to prison if he gets impeached. and he's trying to push all buttons to not have elections, maybe. I mean, people are saying that he's trying to push buttons to not have elections happen because he wants to stay in office. Again, that's something going around the people here, but bottom line, officer, I have to act professional, follow legal protocol if they want to be respected.